You said we're going to do something to your brain.
Hello and welcome to Dead Air 18. This time we're talking about The Fall of the House of Usher, Part 2. The Insurrectionist Next Door, made by Nancy Pelosi's daughter. For him, for her, some amusing adverts that I saw on late night TV, starring Kirsten Bell and Columbo.
Looking forward to that part.
Yeah, but one more thing. Alright, so we're starting on Fall of the House of Usher. Last time we'd seen the first two episodes.
First two. Mm-hmm.
And we kind of liked it.
Yeah, I was interested to see where it was going after the first two. Mm-hmm. I think we just watched it that morning.
Yes.
Yeah. Because I remember in the comments, a couple people like, did you really only watch the first two? Like right before we recorded, we watched them. So that's why we didn't get further.
People couldn't believe that. We hadn't seen all of it. Why are you talking about it?
Yeah. Yeah, what did you think of
I hated it.
I know you did, yeah.
I hated it.
Yeah.
I mean, no, not really hated, but... God.
Yeah, well, I mean, last week we were talking about how we hope that there was like a ramping up, kind of, after the acid death dance room people. But then actually all the deaths after that were just kind of boring.
Uh-huh.
And some good actors, though. Some good actors in it. There's really only one thing I can think of that I wanted to mention with this.
Yeah.
I mean, but you go first.
No, what did you want to mention?
The totally out of left field political commentary, like naming...
Oh,
like
right.
where evil devil lady... You explain.
I think you should explain, like, what it's about. Or do you want me to do that?
Go ahead.
Okay, so Bruce Greenwood plays Usher, who is a extremely rich, successful, oldish man, as is his sister, Madeline Usher.
Yeah.
And it turns out that in the 80s, he sold his soul to possibly a proxy of the devil or something like that.
Angel of death, devil, something.
Yeah, but not really his soul, because souls don't exist. He basically sold the lives of any children he had, and he only had one child at that time, I think.
Yeah, I can't remember. Yeah.
So basically the deal was with the devil, even though it wasn't the devil.
Whatever it is.
What's her name? Carla Moriarty.
Gugino.
Carla Gugino. Well, you seem to know who she was.
Yeah.
I was like, who's that? Every time.
I remember seeing... I know, that was a whole other thing. Is that the same woman?
She wears different wigs. It's hard to tell.
I know, every time she shows up on screen. Is that the same woman?
So essentially she makes a deal like, you'll be super successful in business because that's what you're into.
You'll be powerful and famous and wealthy.
But then right before you die, when you would die anyway, you'll lose everything and your children will be killed and it'll be the fall of the House of Usher.
Yeah.
And...
not just his children, all of his descendants.
His descendants.
Yeah.
Yeah. So not just his children's children too.
Yeah.
Of which there is only one.
Yeah.
So we didn't get any baby death.
Sadly, no. We did not. Yeah.
How would you have handled that if the script called for that? You had the mom... The mom, she wants to do more work on her social media thing. She starts taking Adderall, but then she gets addicted to Adderall, but then it's a controlled substance, she can't get hold of it, so she switches to meth. And then the next thing she knows, she's putting like her 3 babies in a blender. Oh, God.
Yeah. I mean, we're basically just rewriting Final Destination at this point.
Do you not think it was a lot like Final Destination?
Yeah, you mentioned that when we were watching it. Yes.
Just because we know that these people are going to die, and like the tension isn't what's going to happen. We know what's going to happen. The tension is how is it going to happen?
Yeah, it's like set up from the get-go. Like you can tell, like pretty much every episode, one of his descendants is going to die, and it'll all be themed around Edgar Allan Poe stuff, which didn't really help either because like every time like an episode popped up that was like the Telltale Heart, and I was like, oh, so the like heart surgeon lady is going to get it next. Okay. Why even watch the episode? But if it played out,
well,
if it played out in a way that was like unexpected and fun, you know, or just in some way satisfying, like things don't have to be unexpected. You don't have to subvert expectations to make something good, but just kind of.
But this didn't subvert expectations.
It didn't at all. Like the expectations are set up from the beginning, and I guess that's what I'm saying. Like you can do a story where the audience kind of knows straight away what's going to happen, but make
Saving Private Ryan.
Make it interesting though. Yeah.
That bit in Saving Private Ryan where there's an enormous German counterattack and D-Day fails.
Yeah. I mean, at the beginning of every episode after like the third one, we were like, I hope nothing bad happens in this one.
To these horrible people. Yeah.
I don't know. What did you think about it?
Well, I didn't like it. I mean, that's kind of, unfortunately, that's what stays with me the most. There wasn't like one thing. I thought the acting was really good most of the time.
Yeah.
I remember thinking, watching it, the heart surgeon lady, she's really over the top. Mm-hmm. And...
Like the performance, you mean?
Yeah, I remember sort of thinking like, I don't know, I'm sort of I feel like I'm understanding more, like there's no real bad performances, just bad direction. Because it would have been good in another
I know what you mean. I thought
series, it just was out of place. And,
I got the sense, like, watching her as well in particular, like, I can tell this lady can act, and she's got like a charisma about her, and you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But it was just so extra.
Yeah. Yeah, I get, there were one or two funny-ish moments in there, but it wasn't a comedy. Mm-hmm. The way I think it was presented, I haven't really seen any PR around it or anything, but it was presented as like this is going to be hyper-gory. Yeah. But the way they did it, it would have been way better as a comedy, because it wasn't hyper-gory, no. It was dumb. And it really felt like it was trying to be nasty, but it wasn't nasty. Like, there's loads of stuff you can watch from like the 70s and 80s that are fucking nasty.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Deliver that.
Yeah.
And it never got there. It was ridiculous and kind of childish, really, to be honest with you. Yeah. It felt like if you're gonna make your thing about gore, show me some fun.
You better deliver on it. Yeah. I know what you mean. Like, I'm not even like the kind of person that especially likes gore, but if it has like a good purpose and is executed well, like there's some really good stuff out there. And this was just not, I don't know, it didn't live up on its various kind of promises, I guess. But can we get to here's a picture of me helping other evil people like the Kochs and a president?
Yeah, I'm not going to say the name or anything, but he once said that he could shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue, and
that yeah.
It wasn't all conservatives.
No, but mostly. And it just took me out of it, man. Every time, just what were your thoughts? I know that each time it happened, we both just looked at each other like,
make that face. It reminded me of the latest season of The X-Files.
Yeah?
In that regard, yeah. If you remember, that gets really meta.
Does it? I can't recall the latest one.
Yeah, well, there you go.
I kind of stopped remembering them after, season 6.
They have a lot to say about Trump and that and stuff. Mm-hmm. And, yes, it was out of place and too much.
Yeah. It was, bordering on comedy in those moments as well. Because, honestly, when it did happen, it was so funny that, it totally took me out of it and destroyed any suspense, but, it was amusing, an amusing part of the episode that someone would just to even do that, I guess, be so immersion breaking, that it would work better if it were more of a comedy.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it was, but I think it could have worked fine. Carla Gangliona,
Carla Ganglia.
Her, her performance was fine and everything, but it was just written so cliched. yes, I'm the devil, and
Yeah, I liked her.
and you know, like giving little speeches and stuff. It would have been it could have been funny, it could have been serious and way darker if you'd have had a way more normal person or a way more normal character doing that. Like it's just some dude who turns up and is like, yes, I'll do this, this, and this for you. You know, like, I don't know, man. If I was the devil, like, or a demon, making bargains with people, I'd get pretty bored with like, yes, and you won't regret it.
Yeah, I know.
You know.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
I think the walking dude was a much sort of more interesting version of that. I know that's not the same thing. But...
No, I get you, but I mean, you know, kind of supernatural character that's, you know, kind of the bad guy.
I would have preferred Bob Hoskins chewing
more
gum
wackadoo. Yeah.
or something.
Bob Hoskins. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, that was just so, like, it happened, like, especially toward the end. Like, it happened, like, once, I want to say the last, like, 3 episodes, you know, where it's like, and now, you know, let me tell you about, here's some pictures, like, here's with, I can't remember all the people, but it's like, here's me with Mitt Romney, and shit within pictures, and it's like, you're just, I can't stop just laughing, it's so stupid.
You should have put, like, a couple of, like, really silly ones in there, like, here's me with George Michael, and here's me with Hitler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know, just weird. Loved Mark Hamill in it.
He was great. There needs to be more of that.
There needed to be more of him, because every time he was on screen, he was,
Block
rockin' beats. Yeah, that's right.
Woo, 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 woo. Another thing I was going to say, which I can barely remember as these words tumble out of my mouth. Oh, well, sorry. Yeah, I didn't like it. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Not even... It was just dumb.
Yeah, I didn't hate it. It just, you know, meh.
Oh, yeah, that's what I was going to say. The lady, you know, Carlo, the Raven lady, you know, the demon offering all this stuff.
Carla, yeah.
She's got rules that she has to work by, you know, where it's like, oh, you know, I would have just let you die, but you pulled the teeth out of your comatose wife who cheated on you at an orgy, so now I'll punish you.
Yeah, she makes it clear that, like, the deal was that all of these people have to die, and she kind of makes it sound like, you know, but I chose to make it like a horrific death, because you're such an asshole.
But then at the end, so the young girl who's the only good usher, Lenore, she has to die too, that's the deal. And Demon Lady says to her before she dies, you know, what's going to happen is your mum is going to be so inspired by you because you're a decent person that she's going to use all the remaining usher money to set up a foundation and save thousands and thousands of lives in the future, maybe millions. And she's like, see, you know, so this demon is good then. This demon wants this.
It's not made clear.
This demon wants that.
The deal is,
and it's like it's all worth it for that.
Yeah.
What a cop out again.
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Like I didn't want to see. I don't want to see, you know, reasonable demons who are like I don't really want to hurt anyone, but it's my job. But I'll tell you what, maybe we can hurt people in a way that'll make a positive impact. I want to see Fatumsh get released for like 3 minutes, and the deal is like you can cause as much destruction as possible. That's it. Even if it's something.
Yeah, I get you.
You know, if we go from, well, you made this deal, so now 73 people will die in a bizarre acid death, like in agony. It just doesn't. It's just a bit of a sort of writing cop out.
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Did you really want to make this?
Like, completely tonally work for me.
It feels like this was a job.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean...
It's a living, quote the Raven.
Yeah, I don't know what else there is to say about that.
Sorry.
Just kind of, I don't know. I thought the first 2 episodes were, like, interesting enough that it could have done something with that. And just by the time it was over, it was like, oh, good. Let's watch some Columbo instead.
Yeah. It could have gone the other way, though, as well. It could have been like... When his father made a deal before he was born, Jamie Lee Fox is the rise of the House of Usher. It wasn't really fair on them kiddies, was it? I wasn't even born.
Yeah.
Anyway, whatever. The Insurrectionist Next Door. Do you want to move on?
Yeah, sure. I got nothing else.
Go on then.
Insurrectionist Next Door. A new documentary by Alexandra Pelosi, child of Nancy Pelosi, where she is courteously and politely accepted into the homes of people who were convicted in the January 6th riots, and then verbally berates them and tells them that we all need to work together and understand each other better, and then yells, "I hate you," at people. Literally.
I hate your music.
You're making me hate you. Yeah, there was separate incidents where she's listening to a dude's music about, like, MAGA. She's like, "I hate your music." Like, Jesus. And talking to his kids, "What do you think about your dad's song, Fuck Joe Biden?" Like, just don't talk to their children. Leave those people alone. Those are kids.
I agree. So this is Alexandra Pelosi's 15th?
Some 14th or 15th, I think.
Documentary.
Yeah, for HBO. Yeah.
She has decent access to, I think, about 5 or 6 people. Well, I meant in this documentary.
Yeah, in this one specifically. Yeah.
5 or 6, people who've been convicted of doing shit like stealing random crap from the Capitol or
stuff like that, breaking in.
Minor assault and stuff like that. And all of the, she doesn't talk to a lot of them. There's only like 6 of them.
Just a handful,
she has access to. It is pretty much divided into sort of segments where she kind of shadows them for 10-15 minutes. It's only short, it's only 1 hour 15.
Yeah.
And the people all of them are morons.
Sure.
Yeah. And all of them are quite friendly.
Yeah.
To her.
I would say mostly, like, pretty kind overall. I mean, to be talking to her at all.
I don't think it's an insult to call them morons.
It's not their fault.
You're a moron, I'm a goblin, let's just move on.
A goblin. Yeah.
Yeah. I think you had loads to say about
this. Yeah, sure. I guess my question is, who's this for? I mean, because to me, it seems like this was made just with the intention of making fun of these people to their faces. Especially just the way that it's cut and stuff like that. And, like, when she's showing the dude's music video, which is embarrassing, and, like, really focusing on it, and there was nothing of substance, She just kept being like, okay, so, but Trump told you to go down to the Capitol and do this, and you still support him, right? Yeah, that's right. You still support him after all this. Like, what are we doing? What's the goal here? Because I feel like the goal is just to make fun of them.
Well,
I don't feel that that's very helpful.
She selected, or the only people who were there who would talk to her weren't morons. Sorry.
Sure. But I wouldn't be, like, telling somebody to their face, like, you're a moron. I just don't know what you're.
No, she doesn't say that.
Yeah.
But I mean, they clearly were short bus people.
And I agree with you. Yeah.
I'm not saying all of them there were, but the ones she got were.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the only kind of, like, exception almost is, like, the young girl who's like, I just went with my uncle to the Capitol, and, like, I don't even follow politics. I don't know what this is all about. I kind of felt a little bad for her, I mean, really, the part of me feels bad for all of them,
Yeah, because they're morons.
Because-
It's not an insult.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, go on.
So it's interesting on its own, some of these people, it's even interesting just in a sort of, what's his name, John Wilson sort of way of just, these people would be kind of interesting without the whole political element. They're just weird,
Yeah,
a lot of them. And they're quite endearing, actually. But it is like one of the worst documentaries I've ever seen in terms of its journalistic credibility, and it is trying to be journalistic.
Yeah. I mean, I do think it's interesting that she worked at NBC for like 10 years or something. She had a journalist background.
Yeah.
But she is like the worst fucking interviewer and journalist of all time.
Well, like you say, it's not about that.
It's not about that. It's about, I know, it's not about that. It's about, I don't know, pleasing people who aren't like these people. I don't know. Sorry, I'm rambling.
No, you're not.
What else do you have to say?
What are you talking about, Willis? Not at all. The way I read it is, okay, it's on HBO. And, she'll have, a way bigger reach than a lot of people will. But it's quite limited. It's obviously made for cheap. She did it on, like, a pro camcorder. It sounds like she did it with not camera sound, but a microphone on the camera.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it feels like there was someone else with her. But it was like a crew of max 3, and there's no consideration at all given to how it looks or sounds. There's no cinematic quality at all.
She's just following people around with, a little DSLR or something. That's how it looks, yeah.
And
which can work.
It really... Like, she's Nancy Pelosi's daughter. Nancy and Paul Pelosi are worth anywhere between $50 and $200 million. She's talking about, like, I've got a mortgage and stuff. This is what someone does when they don't need to work. Because if she did, if she was doing this for money, she'd be, making, to her, a pittance from it. And she can only do it because she's Nancy Pelosi's daughter, because she doesn't have any talent whatsoever.
Yeah.
And it really doesn't help her cause, I suppose, which is Nancy Pelosi's cause of status quo, corporate centrism.
Yeah, which is what she rails against in her other documentaries, which is kind of hilarious. Yeah.
Yeah, Nancy Pelosi, her dad was the mayor of Baltimore, and in Congress. Her brother was the mayor of Baltimore. She went to her first presidential inauguration at 12. She's an insider. She was born an insider. And then Alexander Pelosi is born to an insider. Born to an insider, born to an insider. And it's not like I think, like, your mum's a politician, don't be a filmmaker, or don't... I can't really blame someone for being like, well, I want to get into film, and it's a bit easier for me because I went to $100,000 a year college. But don't fucking start doing political shit while your mum is, the most powerful Democrat for a bit, for quite a bit, when she's voted against restricting congresspeople's and politicians' ability to trade stocks. She's got rich off being a political insider.
Yeah.
She's part of the problem. She's a corrupt piece of dog shit.
Yeah, I agree with you. And supporting abortion rights and stuff is, like, not enough for me to forget that shit.
Like, I totally believe that she's pro-LGBTQ.
Yeah.
Probably just a bit after enriching herself and maintaining her power.
Yeah, that's kind of how I see it too. Yeah. I mean, I guess something that I find frustrating is like, yeah, like you're this rich kid with like loads of access, and you know,
Rich kid,
you
she's like
could-
50.
Sure, she was a kid at one point.
Yeah,
And you know, just yeah, like you don't have to be doing this, and if you're gonna do it, like you have the ability to do something a little more hard hitting, and yeah, there can be consequences to
or
that.
buy a tripod.
Like if you ever, like I remember like listening to something with like Ronan Farrow talking about how it's so difficult to really get like great like for example like ask hard hitting questions to like interview subjects who are like powerful people, because they will not only like cut you off from ever having access to them again, but also like their agent will not set you up to interview anybody else again.
Yeah.
So there's like really going into like the nitty gritty like difficulties of like good journalism, like good hard hitting journalism.
Yeah.
And Ronan Farrow definitely doesn't have to be doing what he's doing for a living, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And is an excellent fucking journalist.
Yeah, we love a bit of Ronan
We
Farrow.
do really love Ronan Farrow, yeah.
Every time
What a
we
hero.
watch anything with Ronan Farrow as a kid,
What?
what do you say?
Oh my god, he's so cute. Have a little giggle. He's adorable. No, he has done some really like great shit. Like, you know, the Weinstein stuff was going on for decades, with it being an open secret, and nobody had the balls or the ability because of their position to like not really have to do this shit, to really dig in and not let it go. And yeah, Ronan Farrow had like a major role in what happened to Harvey Weinstein in the end. You know, made a real difference. What difference is Alexandra Pelosi making? And she has like all the resources and money to be able to actually make a difference. She has all this access.
Okay, you've quantum leapt into Alexander Pelosi's body.
What?
Do you remember Quantum Leap?
I remember that name.
Starring Scott Bakula.
Balaclava.
Scott Bakula.
Scott Bakula, okay.
And another guy who's got the cigar. Ziggy says.
Just move past it.
Every week he has to quantum leap into another person's body like he's in control.
Is this a British show?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Sorry.
And yeah, so you're in control of Alexander Pelosi's body. What would you do?
That's a great question.
Like when you...
I would use all this time I've spent over, you know, like 15, 20 years, earning the trust of a lot of these actually high-powered people that I've interviewed, and, you know, not really gone in hard for them. You're like, I'm doing another thing. Come back and do another interview with me. And then just fucking go off on one with some real facts and just burn all those bridges and put out like a piece that actually, you know, has something to say and could actually make a difference. Because there's all kinds of stuff that, you know, like thinking about like the conspiracy theories video. Actually wanted to mention this. Like the problem is a lot of times I think that when it comes to, for example, money and politics, and people like Alexandra Pelosi who can, you know, cozy up to other powerful people, it can look like there's a conspiracy. But the truth is, like, there's so much perfectly legal stuff that is perfectly available out in the open for anyone to see that could, if we could address them, could make a real difference. Like the revolving door lobbying is like a great example. You know, I was thinking about like Curtis Wright with the Sacklers and how he worked with the Sackler and Purdue Farmers lawyers to get this special label on OxyContin.
He was working with the FDA.
We're as an FDA employee, yes. Getting it approved for market and getting their like never before seen special label of it's believed that the content system will prevent addiction. Something that never should have ended up there. Like going off for a couple days with Purdue Pharma's lawyers in a motel to, you know, write out his final like report that would make this pass so they could sell it, right? The problem is nothing that he did was illegal.
Yeah.
And they didn't, I think a lot of people, when they think of like corruption, and they think of just straight bribery. Like, okay, so someone at Purdue Pharma must have given Curtis Wright a check for $500,000 and said, now you pass our thing for us so our product can go to market.
Yeah.
No, it's the same thing that they've been doing for years, that Jack Abramoff called out when he got out of prison. No, what you do is you make your connections with these people. And just, if you're kind to them and they're kind to you, you might offer them a job in a few years.
And they offered him a job for $400K.
I can't remember the exact figure, but yeah, I mean, Abramoff talked about this openly when he came out of prison. Like, I would directly say to people, like, staffers, what are you making here? Like $50,000 a year, you could come work for us and make $500,000 in 1 year. Get $1 million sign-on bonus. This shit's not illegal, and I guess that it's that kind of stuff for a lot of people maybe is just too boring, to look at, like, the structural problems,
Why do you say that?
Well, because it's all out there, like congressional fundraising.
Yeah.
I didn't know until I watched this, it was a 60-minute special from, like, I want to say, like, 2016, where they were just talking to Congress people about the way that congressional fundraising works and how, basically they found, like, Congress people will work, like, 9-10 hours a day, and only about 2 hours a day is spent on actual, like, legislation. The rest of their time, they're basically...
Fundraising.
They're fundraising. They're basically, like, telemarketers, it's, like, the big part of their job. And, like, you have to raise X amount of dollars per month, or we won't support you or per day, or we won't support you for re-election. Like, structural problems. If you have to raise, say, $15,000 per day, or you're going to lose all of your positions of power or influence in Congress, or they're not going to support you for re-election, you're out of a job. Like, the system itself and the way that it functions perpetuates that. And those are things that can be addressed. Sorry, getting a little worked up now. It's really good, that special. Like, they went, like, with, like, secret cameras, like, behind into these, like, fundraising houses, and that was good stuff. I'll link it in the description.
Well, you say that.
I'll remember. And 60 minutes, like, major, just to put a point on that, major news organization. And the thing is, how does it really work? I mean, how do you get more people to know about that? Like, that specific problem? Well, the problem is, like, it was on national news. If people were really interested, they would click on the video. They would watch it. They would make a fuss about it. So then it would get repeated. The story would come back. We're not interested in that. We're interested in...
So you're saying that the problem is people?
Yeah, more or
Actually,
less. Yeah, I think so.
You also said that we know about this stuff, the stuff we can do. Mm-hmm. But really what you mean is the stuff we can do is it becomes a nationally talked about political issue where someone from a party, from one of the parties or a new party, takes the mantle. Mm-hmm. That's not going to happen. No,
or an existing member of the party, I mean... the truth is, what it would really take, maybe I'm wrong, but maybe what it really takes is, like, if all these people were out of a job. Like, I'm not going to vote for anybody who doesn't commit that they will enact a lifetime ban on lobbying for the industry that you formerly have regulated. That is a structural fix for a structural problem. But that's not what it gets people excited about when it comes to voting,
So you're saying the only way that this is going to be addressed is if there is some sort of national crisis?
I mean, I guess,
Yeah.
Or some kind of consensus, and yeah, I just think we're not very good at that. So, I don't know.
You mean as Americans or as people? Because it's not just America.
No, of course not. No. Yeah, I mean, why aren't people worked up still about Citizens United, about dark money, like, do we want democracy or do we want people with money to make all the decisions for us,
But that is democracy, you see, because you vote by buying the product. The product.
And if you don't have enough money, then, make more money.
Just make more money.
Be born Alexander Pelosi. Yeah, I don't know. Sorry, a bit of a rant there.
You can take whatever you want, but you better not take it from me. Well, I kind of we haven't got this written down, but that makes me think of obviously on sort of the opposite end, I suppose, the superficial end, the whole sniper wolf thing.
Oh yeah.
Where YouTuber called Sniper Wolf, who's been around for ages.
SSniperwolf.
SSniperwolf. No. Didn't we decide it was SSnipe RW Ulf was how to pronounce her name. Ulf. So Ulf is a YouTuber. Sniper Wolf is a YouTuber who doxed another YouTuber, like turned up outside his house because he'd been criticizing for a bit. It's not like super interesting to me, but a lot of people were very angry about it because YouTube didn't do anything. YouTube didn't even acknowledge that what she did was illegal. She went outside this guy's house and streamed his house in front of, she's got an audience of like 5 million people on Instagram where she did it. And people have been complaining about that to YouTube on Twitter and things like that for a week. YouTube even put out, what was that tweet you showed me about an official YouTube tweet saying, is it too meta if we start doing reaction videos about reaction videos?
Yeah. This was I think a couple days after this whole thing erupted.
So has the last person that YouTube PR goon, has the last time they logged on, was that like 2016 or something? I mean, like, what the fuck? I could call up the CEO of YouTube and start going on about what I could do, right? I've got this idea, right? I could do like a commentary on a video game, and they'd be like, my God, that is genius. Oh,
yeah.
Just like, what if we did a react video to a react video? Like, no one's done that.
Yeah. I know
like, no one was doing that 10 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought react videos were dead, but whatever.
I guess not.
But what I was going to say, it made me think about that because, like, people are rightly pissed off and, like, at YouTube, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
And now they've temporarily suspended her ad income, not even suspended her channel. YouTube has ads all the time for Shein, which is a massive Chinese fashion company that has been provably linked to sweatshops.
Child labor.
Absolutely appalling conditions.
Yeah.
No one gives a fucking shit.
Last I looked, they were still running Andrew Tate ads for his pyramid scheme.
The Twin Flame video that came out.
Yep, they still got ads up, yeah.
We looked it up on YouTube. The first thing that came up was an ad for them.
Yeah, for people that are encouraging stalking. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, a wee experiment we might have.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I could put an ad up for YouTube and spend like $5. And just put anything in it. I mean, that'd be a great way to get myself fucking kicked off the platform.
Yeah.
But
I know what you mean. I mean, I saw some people on Twitter saying something similar. Like, why doesn't somebody who has a small channel with nothing to lose do a doxing Sniperwolf video and just see if if they get the same response? Because some people were saying that that they're possibly changing their terms of service to accommodate her now. I don't know exactly how true that is, but I saw people posting chat logs with YouTube support asking, they were asking for a friend if I want to go to somebody's house and another YouTuber and dox them outside their house to 5 million followers. Would that be okay under YouTube's terms of service? And getting responses back that were like, well, that would be outside of our purview kind of thing. But their terms of service have previously, did say that, say that
if you were a dickhead offline, you could be fucked.
Yeah, exactly. Saying that your conduct outside of the platform can be used against you as well if it's endangering the creator community or other creators or viewers or whatever. So, yeah, it's the same answer as it always is. She makes loads of money for them.
Does she make... she does make loads of money for them.
Yeah.
But in the grand scheme of things, she doesn't make loads of money for them.
Yeah, that's a good point. in the grand scheme of things, there's people way bigger than her, and there's also like tons of smaller channels like us who collectively probably make a lot of money for them.
Yeah, but I'd say
like
there's tons of people. I know she's very big, but there's tons of people in that category too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's not like she's she's the number in the top 5 YouTubers. Not at all.
Maybe it's more about embarrassment. They've featured her at conventions and stuff. They've like actively promoted her channel. I don't know. I don't know who's making the decisions on this. What do you think?
About them making I don't know who's making decisions, but I know they've always tried to have really vague policies to deliberately stop people skirting around them.
Yeah.
And ending up with a problem of
loads of
people doing shit that's technically okay.
Yeah. I mean, there is a reason that you'd make it vague like that. Yeah, like I saw the wording of the that particular part of the terms of service, and it was like, we may take action to.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. It's open to their discretion. So.
But they can't be bothered to look at my. What?
Go ahead.
What we can say?
Nothing.
My video about conspiracy theories.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And see that it's not.
Is that what you knew I was going to say?
Yeah.
Why?
Because that was frustrating.
I mean, for me, that's an occupational hazard.
It is,
Right? I'm not angry about it.
It happens rarely enough that you just have to take it. But it's still like, I don't know. It doesn't seem fair.
Well, it definitely discourages you.
What about if you have a content creator who on another platform is possibly grooming children and there's video of it? Is that not a problem?
Who are you talking about?
That SSniperwolf thing.
Right.
Where she's talking about flashing kids, like teenagers, on whatever that app is. Anyway.
Remember when PewDiePie said the N-word?
I do, the adpocalypse, yeah.
But they didn't kick him off.
Yeah. But didn't ad revenue drop for everybody?
It was right before I started, so I have no idea.
Right, okay.
That's what people were saying.
Yeah.
But I think it was going to happen anyway. I think it was all overinflated and it was like the perfect excuse.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that may be the case. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I sure do remember that. Remember Logan Paul showing dead bodies on his channel?
Yeah.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, so there you go. If there was an alternate to YouTube, I would do it.
Yeah, like a legitimate one.
Like a legitimate one, not just...
Not Rumble. Yeah.
Yeah. Isn't Rumble... Yeah, not Rumble. God, no. No, if there was a real one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I logged onto YouTube the other day. I always do it in private because I like to see what it feeds.
Yeah.
And it was, it wasn't an ad, but it was it was like a 30-minute video filmed in portrait format. It had 500,000 views, and it was called something like Islam and Children. And it was just like verses from the Quran and like why you should... Oh no, it was called something like Islam and Young Women Today. And it was just, about like, why you should be ashamed of yourself for having titties.
Right, yeah. Yeah, I mean, God, what was that thing that we watched, like, I want to say like 15 minutes of a while back? The guy who was like, I should be allowed to have sex with teenagers.
Oh, yeah.
And made a whole documentary about it.
That had been on Netflix for years.
Yeah,
And then got taken down, and we found it on YouTube.
Yeah, because that's what made me think of it. That's right. Because I was like, I kept seeing that like on Netflix, like scrolling by, like, what the fuck is that? And it's like, do they still have that? And then they didn't have it, so then I was like dedicated to trying to find it.
And then we didn't even watch all of it.
If Netflix removes it. Oh, it was intolerable.
It was like, well, the thing was that people in the past used to only live to 30, so you'd need to be like pregnant at 14, 15 for things to work. So what is a pedophile?
And that's when women are the most attractive. Let's all be honest. It was crazy. Yeah, we should stop talking about that topic since YouTube can't tell the difference anymore.
If it ever could.
If it ever could, yeah. Yeah, I mean, the stuff that's out there, I mean, what can you do, I guess? I don't know.
Oh, I have a few ideas.
Yeah. Oh, yes, I'm just seeing what's on the list next. That's funny.
Oh, yes, you're coming right back. Renfield.
That's not what's on the list next. Can we take a break first?
Sure.
Okay.
Why?
I'm gonna make some more tea water.
Okay.
Okay.
5 minutes later.
We're back. So, what was the next thing on the list?
Snow White by the Daily Wire
By Benke.
by Ben Shapiro.
By Benke.
Yeah, Benke. Tell us about that.
Oh, who is a founder and controller of that? Chris Wilkes. The Wilkes brothers. Who are multi-billionaires. I think I can't remember, I wanted to say they're the biggest private landowners in America. I know they're one of the biggest at least.
One of the biggest, yeah.
And they have a church where they preach that, just normal things, women should shut the fuck up and all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gay.
They're fracking billionaires as well.
Yeah. 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 Fracking billionaires.
Gay. Yeah, that's one of their
something
sermons.
about
Gay.
something about gay people. Yeah. 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 Well. So yeah, I just came across this and thought it was funny and worth a mention. Disney's making a new live-action Snow White movie, which I'm sure will be horrible, like all their live-action stuff has been. Remakes, that is. But not for the reasons that, like, the Daily Wire people think. Like, this is woke. Just because they're not fun and awful. So the Daily Wire spent, I've just seen millions, didn't say how much, to make their own Snow White movie. I can't remember, I think it's going to release on their website or something, starring Ben Shapiro's co-host, this girl that was doing this all the time, remember? Whatever. And we watched the trailer and don't really care. I thought the auto-tune was hilarious on the singing that was in it.
We watched the trailer for Snow White.
Yeah.
By them.
Yeah,
but it
right.
was more like a preview.
It was like a teaser.
Teaser.
Yeah. Yeah, there was like nothing in it. But yeah, I don't know. What do you think about that?
So Disney are releasing one, so they're releasing one kind of at the same time.
People were mad at something about the actress of the Disney one, who's a Latina lady. Something about, I don't know, her in the press talking about woke stuff. I didn't really care, so I didn't look.
What do you mean talking about woke stuff?
I can't remember.
You mean she was for woke stuff, or she was like, woke stuff?
Doesn't even matter. I can't recall. But something about they're mad about the casting of the Disney one and it being woke.
I mean, because she's not super white.
She looked pretty pale to me.
But Latinx,
Yeah,
that's
I
not
guess.
white.
Yeah, I guess.
Apparently.
Yeah.
They clearly should have got like a Central African woman albino. Like made someone like really white.
Just troll.
Like, I mean, like, so albino they have like red eyes.
It's Powder, the same actor. Remember that movie Powder? The dude with all the white skin and he has telekinesis. We watched it.
Oh yeah.
This was years ago. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what my thoughts are. I find it hilarious that people want to get in big arguments over like children's movies.
Yeah, but this isn't. They're just making Snow White. They're not having an argument.
No,
What's
but
the hate?
it's in reaction to Disney making one. But no, I mean, maybe it'll be really good. I don't know. It could be.
Yeah.
I'm not going to see it anyways. I'm not going to see the Disney one either.
Well, I mean, the only thing I really have to say about it is the preview. The preview. I didn't realize, but the thumbnail is Brett Cooper playing Snow White. In a Snow White dress, like. But then, so I didn't realise that. So then the preview is like lots of kind of nice shots of like birds chirping and forest
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
la 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 singing. And then we get a bit, a shot of Snow White, but we can't see her head.
Mhm.
And it comes up, and then as it comes up, we get this swell of music.
Mhm.
Like it's almost like the Batman trailer music.
Yeah.
As she turns her head.
To look at the camera, yeah.
And it's done
Yeah.
like it's meant to be like a reveal.
Mhm.
Like, look who we've got. We've got fucking Queen Latifah, sort of thing. Which is really funny that it's in the thumbnail anyway. But yeah, she looks a bit like Ben Shapiro. No one's fault. She looks a bit like Ben Shapiro. And when she turned around, there was half a second where I thought it was Ben Shapiro.
In a wig.
And I was like, fucking take my money.
I would watch that in a heartbeat.
I would watch the fuck out of that.
That would be great.
If he was it wasn't political, he was just having a laugh.
Yeah, that would be really funny. Yeah, take my money. Yeah, no kidding. Maybe that should be what we should do.
It wasn't just that she looks like him, it was the smile she did.
Mm-hmm.
Which almost, for half a second, it was like Ben Shapiro being like, see?
We should make a Snow White movie starring you.
I'm a hot woman. Starring me?
Yeah, as Snow White.
Yes. And the caption can be cocaine doesn't steal itself. Yeah, let's make that. Let's just make Cocaine George.
Mm-hmm.
It's about a deranged George in the woods that gets into some cocaine.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I don't know, starts screaming about the fucking 7th Amendment or something.
I'm into this. Yeah.
We'll method it.
Method it.
We'll do a Kickstarter where it's just like 50 grand for cocaine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right.
I don't know.
Well,
that's illegal, so we should do it in a country where it is legal.
Mm-hmm.
Which is international waters.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I'd have to think about what U.S. immigration will think of that. What's their policy on going to another country and doing drugs? They're weird about stuff.
Yeah, well, we wouldn't tell them, would we? Dear sirs.
Yeah. $50,000 for... What would you put in the Kickstarter then? Because it would be on... You have to see it, so... For sugar cookies.
Morale.
50,000 for morale. That's good.
Yeah. Do you remember when I did my immigration stuff and they were like, have you ever been part of the Nazi Party?
I do remember that, yeah.
Have you ever been part of the Taliban?
Mm-hmm. Have you ever been part of the National Socialist Party? Yeah, have you ever been a member of the Taliban? I do remember that. That was some stressful shit.
I bet they'd love to hear about it.
Yeah, I don't know. You ever tried to sit down in a room with people and explain to a total stranger that your marriage is real? And you love the person.
Israel? Why do you keep saying that? That your marriage is real. Here are some photos and...
Yeah. It's like, well, shit. All of my photos are just you and the dog. You're married to this dog, that's for sure. Excuse me. Yeah.
Well, is there anything else you want to say about that?
No, just, stressful and, yes, our marriage is real and here's $2,000 or whatever it was. And now to have anxiety about this for the next 4 years.
Yeah, the interview day was really interesting because we went from extremely friendly security guard to like extremely belligerent old lady bitch behind a counter. Not the woman who interviewed us.
Yeah.
But
like receptionist or
yeah,
whatever.
You remember?
Yeah. I don't really remember that part now.
Yeah.
No, I remember that security guard though. I always remember that.
Yeah.
He was very welcoming.
He was very cool.
Hey, brother, where are you from? Good to have you, brother. Oh, damn, thanks for that.
Yeah.
Stress -10.
Shiners stick together. Shriners, I mean.
Shriners?
Never mind. Renfield.
Renfield, we watched that, yeah. You have nothing else to say about Snow White? I mean, I don't.
The whole thing of them doing it with the money that they've obviously... I mean, we looked into their taxes, which are all public and on their site. And, they've, same with Praga U, they've built up a lot of money. Mm-hmm. Like, I like that idea, of I have a website and it's popular and I make money and save up my money and do a film.
Yeah.
And not raise, they not raise the money. I like that. It's just, it's obviously, extremely got an extreme political bent. You would think is why they're making it.
But their argument I'm sure would be, no, all the mainstream movies coming out have an extreme political bent, so we're just trying to balance the scale with something more traditional or whatever.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Sorry, continue.
No, I mean, they would argue that, sure.
Yeah.
But, yeah, no, I'm just saying that I'm not against them doing it exactly, but I suspect it'll be fun for all the wrong reasons. Yeah, I wish them well. Okay, they've got like conservative, like real grease money behind them to do it, but it is an independent thing.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like as unindependent as you can be whilst being independent.
I get you. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Hey, good luck to them. Making a movie's hard. Especially when you don't have all the money in the world. Which Disney kind of does.
I mean, who really proved himself by making, quite a thematic, quirky little movie.
Who?
Not so long ago. Who would be good for stuff like this? Neil Breen.
I would love to see more Neil Breen movies. I want to see Neil Breen's Snow White.
I want to see Neil Breen direct somebody else's script.
Yeah, where it's not just the same thing every time. But that kind of adds to the charm as well. I mean, same theme. God, what was the one where at the end, like, all these corporate executives are shooting themselves? Like, Jesus Christ. Yeah, he has another movie coming out.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I saw somewhere. I can't remember what it's called. But I can probably tell you what it's about without knowing.
Neil Breen.
Yeah.
Renfield?
Yeah, Renfield. What'd you think?
What is it first?
It's a movie starring Nicolas Cage as Dracula.
Dracula.
And he's in...
Modern day Dracula.
Modern day Dracula. And Renfield, his assistant, whatever, is in an abusive relationship with him and is, like, going to therapy and stuff.
And Renfield's like 130 years old or something.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's a comedy.
Yeah. Horror comedy, I guess.
It is a comedy, yes.
Yes. Yep. I thought Nicolas Cage was really funny. Not enough of him. Like over.
You want to get this over with, huh?
No. I mean, what do you have to say?
You're right. I don't think I liked it, but I liked a lot of it for not liking it.
Yeah.
There wasn't, the idea's fun. It's about Renfield, Dracula's assistant / familiar, in the style of Smithers, my master, sort of thing. But I'm interested kind of in how it came to be, because the first 15 minutes there's so much exposition of the character Renfield telling us how things work, and Dracula gets his power from blood. I get my power from eating spiders and creepy crawlies, and all of this, and I would have gathered you got your power from eating creepy crawlies, dude. You do it and then you Hulk out. There was a lot of telling me, not showing me, and it almost felt like it was at one point going to be a series or something, with that amount of exposition that we didn't need. Yeah.
I get what you're saying. I think that it was just trying to go for a style of I don't know, what's the right term? Like a sort of diary journal-esque kind of, I don't know how you'd start like a coming of age story or something. I don't know. I mean, it didn't really work for me either. I kind of felt like, not necessarily like they meant for it to be a series or something, but I kind of wish that I'd seen more of that movie, like them meeting, and I don't know. Go on, sorry. I don't have loads to say.
What I did like about it was, I mean, I didn't love the fight scenes, but the fight scenes were definitely meant to be funny. And I think that's a mistake sometimes like action comedies make where they forget about the comedy during the action.
Yeah.
Like, and you know, I don't know, we really like Rush Hour and things like that. And that does both of them really well, where it feels like, you know, there's some real cool action going on.
Well, a lot of that's
real
Jackie
cool
Chan.
choreography. Well, yeah, I know, but it's also funny as well. Like
his physical comedy is, yeah.
Yeah. It's like if Zeus was a clown.
Yeah.
Or if Bruce Lee was a clown. But, yeah, I like the Nicolas Cage stuff as Dracula. It was really funny and...
Yeah, it was over the top and like your kind of classic Nicolas Cage performance. What I guess is known for now mostly, yeah. Very funny, yeah.
The idea was funny. I thought the character of Renfield was kind of boring and there wasn't really a lot to him. Like, he's been happy to be Dracula's undead assistant for 100 years and then suddenly, like, you know, he's responsible for like thousands of people's deaths. And suddenly it's like, oh, well, this isn't great. And Dracula decides that he doesn't just want to live in a castle, aka hotel, anymore. He wants to rule the world, so he gets involved in like some local crime people. I thought, and I think it would be better if it was going to be. It turns out Renfield's the mastermind, and it's like Maid Marian. Did you ever see that? Probably not.
No, I haven't. I've heard you talk about it, but I haven't seen it yet.
It's like a 90s kids TV show. About Robin Hood and Maid Marian, but he's an idiot.
Yeah.
And she's like the mastermind and the archer and everything, but yeah. But he's the one who becomes the legend. I thought it would be like that, like actually Dracula's an idiot.
Yeah.
And he's just into sucking blood, and Renfield's like, you know, we could, you know, you know how to speak like 20 languages, my lord. You're 1,000 years old. Like, we could do so much more. And I thought it'd be something like that. I also thought maybe it would be like, yeah, Renfield's the evil one, and Dracula ends up as the protagonist who has to take him down. Like, Dracula's like, no, I just want to suck people's blood. I don't want to rule the world.
Yeah, like he just wants a simple life of
sucking peasants' blood.
Yeah, and then going back to sleep.
Yeah,
whatever.
for a bit, yeah.
Okay, yeah, I see what you're saying. I mean, that does sound fun.
But whatever, it just needed more Dracula.
Yeah, that was my main thing that I went away from it with, was like, just needed more of Nick Cage doing his Nick Cage thing, because that was pretty great. And then every time he's gone, it's like, when's he coming back, you know? But yeah, it was alright.
That's what we'll do. We'll kickstart, right? $1 million, 800 grand of that for Nick Cage, 100 grand of that for morale.
For morale.
Right, 100 grand of that for me. And it'll just be an hour and a half of Nick Cage, and the whole, there's no twist from the very beginning. This is an hour and a half of Nick Cage reciting the alphabet more and more belligerently every time until he's like bleeding. That I would watch that.
Did you ever see
A, B, C, D?
I would enjoy that as well. What is that from? Isn't he in a movie doing that?
Yeah, and he's a vampire.
Yeah. I mean, already? A movie that's been made?
But it's not 90 minutes, baby.
I see. Okay. I was going to ask, have you ever seen Mandy? We didn't watch that, did we?
No.
I thought a lot of people liked that. It's supposed to be another crazy Nick Cage performance. I might have to try and check that out sometime.
Yeah. But if I start it, right, I know they're not going to do what I want, but if I start it and it's some fucking generic pop music, right, it's going off. Because clearly what you should have done is start, because it's meant to be hyper-violent, you should have straight put that up on Barry Manilow. Oh, Mandy!
Yeah. Maybe it does, I don't know.
Maybe it does.
Maybe it does.
Maybe
you don't know.
Maybe the Mandy is actually ecstasy. And Nick Cage is having a great time.
Yeah.
I love you! So this is a Wendy's.
Yeah, okay. What next?
For hims, for hers.
Oh yeah, you tell. Because I barely remember this.
We were watching Columbo recently on Freevee. Is Freevee just an Amazon thing?
I don't know, actually. Maybe they probably have their own app, too. I don't know. Yeah, and free streaming, you have to watch ads.
Occasionally, it's not that bad.
It's
I mean, it depends,
comparable to
you know.
what you would see on TV, I'd say.
And
but not as long, usually.
It
Depends.
seems to me that there are fewer ads later at night. But I can't verify that. But definitely the ads change after 10 p.m. I've almost timed it now. Because we'll just have Columbo on all day now. That's my life. And after Columbo, it will be Lovejoy. For Hims for Hers, so two of the ads I got back to back, and I've seen them multiple times, not back to back, was for Hims. And it starts off like, every guy gets erection problems sometimes. Every dude gets an erect. Very few dudes can get an erect penis and maintain it.
Right.
It's really rare.
Right.
You know, most people throughout history have been thumbing in softies. It's a dick pill ad, and which is fine. You know, I can't. Remember, I don't know if it even says the name of the medication. It's just for Hims. Kind of like. I guess you don't want to go to the doctor to get Viagra for some reason, because you need to go to the doctor to get Viagra. So get, you know, an over-the-counter medication.
Right. Okay.
Delivered to your door.
Wow. That if it's from the supplement industry, it'll definitely be legit.
And the whole thing, as well as like discreet packaging. But then before that, like the 1 minute before that is like something to be ashamed of. I just. No, I want the postman to know, like, dick pills.
So when you go get it from him, the UPS guy, you're like, that's right. Okay. I
can be hard for whenever I want, as long as I want, given 30 minutes notice. So there was that, and then straight afterwards, so that's just got you know, an actor in it, whatever. And then the one afterwards has Kirsten Bell, well-known actor, advertising for Hers. Right, so for Hims...
Dick pill.
Dick pill. For Hers, what's for Hers? Is that a pussy pill? What would that be?
What is it?
I'd love the idea of like... All right, girls. A lot of people don't know this, but women get sexual... what do you call it? Performance issues too. The difference is they don't get wet. That's the normal thing. The difference is no one cares. Right? It ain't going to stop nobody.
My wife, a doctor, says that it's a major medical problem.
No, for Hers, in the same line of like, everyone has dick problems. It's women. It's normal to feel stressed. It's normal to be anxious. Anxiety pills.
Right. Okay. And the commercials, I'm pretty sure I was asleep when this was happening.
Yeah.
Are they definitely the same company? I mean, for Hims, for Hers, I guess it must be. They're using the same...
They're not definitely the same company, but it's a bizarre coincidence because the marketing looks the same.
Okay, right. Well, then the names would make me think it's the same company. What if it's the same pill bottle and it's just melatonin?
What would get your dick hard and be an anti-anxiety? That's an interesting question.
I don't know. Not really qualified to speak on one of those.
It's just one big beta blocker.
Right. What's some other stuff that they could sell under the same, in the same bottle but labeled for Hims for Hers?
Other stuff they could, or other
like
problems
instead
they
of
could solve.
No, I don't mean other problems they can solve. Like just say that you order it from that commercial and one's meant to be a dick pill and one is a women's anxiety pill.
But for production reason, they need to be the exact same pill.
Yeah. Because then you just change the label, but it's the same pills, and then.
But people are going to know when their dick doesn't get hard.
Process. I don't know. I mean, it's a subjective thing. I would think so. Maybe it's
what is a hard
susceptible
penis?
to the placebo effect. Maybe. Yeah, you take it like, oh yeah, this is working. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I just thought that was worth mentioning. It was curious.
Yeah, I mean, late night commercials are definitely pretty funny, and always have been.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
What are you thinking?
I mean... God, what are some good
Priest
ones?
chat.
The one for the VHS tape about shooting varmint. RLM watched it for one of their episodes, for Best of the Worst.
And you saw it on TV?
I saw, there were infomercials for it late at night. It'd be like 30 minutes of just like, shooting varmints. You can buy it $19.99. You know, that kind of thing, yeah. There used to be some crazy shit on, like, late night TV. Especially, like, I don't know, is infomercials still a thing? I haven't, like, watched regular TV in so long. I don't know what goes on over there anymore.
I remember in Holland watching TV, like, after 10, you start getting the, like, porno commercials.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we had that too.
But they were a bit different because they were, like, you'd just be watching... I remember watching in Holland, The Fresh Prince. And then it went to an ad, and it was, like, a woman with her boobies out. Mm-hmm. Like, quite, there's a lot shown. Mm-hmm. But I always remember it was, like, whatever the phone number was, mm-hmm. Like, have some sexy chat with someone. Mm-hmm. It was, like, 0800, blah, 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 blah. Mm-hmm. And then, in English, it was, like, call this number. And then, horny, Jack Horny student, horny, Jack Horny. What the fuck does that mean? Horny Jack Horny. Uh-huh. Horny Jack Horny.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know, just remember it.
Yeah, we had those, like, 1-900 number commercials, too, here. Yeah, I don't know, I'm trying to think of some other good...
Phone whack.
Like, infomercials. Set it and forget it. The Ronco rotisserie. It's like, you can make a great chicken. It'd be like an hour of this, And and you get these special gloves that are burn resistant. And then they like zoom in and he's got like 3 Band-Aids on his finger. He used to sit up watching that shit. That was funny.
But that's not a commercial though, right? That's
infomercial.
Yeah, but that's on the shopping channel.
No.
Oh, right.
No, like after regular TV stuff was over on, I'm trying to think of like a good example of a channel. No, it'd be like 1 a.m. and instead of like the boo, they would just have infomercials like back to back.
No, I do remember that. I remember watching ITV in Britain and they had one of those and it was like 90 minutes of music like someone had made to be appalling, like and it was just like what you can expect on ITV. 7:30, Coronation Street, as fucking usual. 8, the fucking news, just shit like that. And then it would break to a 90-second commercial of like an enormous bald man doing weights, going like, no one can take my super mega fast sausage workout routine. 99% of people drop out, but the people who don't drop out end up looking really fit.
Yeah, right.
Sort of thing.
I thought of one that you might enjoy that was funny. Unless I just dreamed this, but I'm pretty sure this was real.
Flea market.
An infomercial that I saw, this would have been probably like 18 years ago or some shit, that was for a cat aerobics series. It's how to exercise with your cats. And it's just like, order these videos, and it's just a lady like holding her cat, like doing squats, and these cats looking pissed. And it's like, it's good for both of you. Your cat will love it. And just cats looking like really angry. Why is that so funny?
Like doing hammer.
It literally was stuff like that, like meow.
Oh, cool. Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to think of other ones too. There's always like juicers and slicers.
Yeah, it's always garbage. I mean, otherwise it wouldn't be on an infomercial.
Sure.
Yeah. I guess you started getting a lot of the MLN stuff kind of around that time, like Nutrisystem kind of shit, God.
Well, speaking of infomercials, Frasier, episode 3.
Oh, yeah. It's funny, I actually forgot we were going to talk about that.
Yeah. What happened? Sum up the episode for us.
I honestly cannot remember for the shit of me, and we just watched it 2 days ago. Can you remember what happened? Oh, yeah, I do actually remember it, because there was a bit that was actually really funny, and we were like, I wish that this was what the whole show was. Do you remember?
Yeah.
You explain it.
So Frasier goes back to work at Harvard, but for some reason the students at Harvard want Frasier to perform like Dr. Phil,
His
which
TV
is
character.
kind of meant to apparently be what he ended up as. He had a TV series in Chicago, and we have like 2 minutes where we see it.
And it's like, it's exactly like Dr. Phil.
Yes.
Like actually even a little bit more stupid.
We even go from season 1 to season 10 or whatever they show us to show how it descends into
commercial madness.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was actually hilarious. Like
Shrinkapalooza.
I really wish that that's what this show was. It's like he's actually been doing this TV show, being like a Dr. Phil type character, or like a Dr. Oz character or something. Like this is what the proper shape of what your poop should look like. Join my mailing list. Stuff like that, because that was actually funny. And I would have enjoyed it, and I think you could have done a lot with that, like, story-wise. Like, him having to have some kind of an arc, which I'm guessing in this he will not. Which, he didn't in the original series have an arc anywhere either, so...
I suppose
but it's less,
I mean, maybe that's even more a missed opportunity. I don't know if this would... You see, again, the only way to win is not to play. I don't know if it would have worked for a series, but if they'd have done a Frasier film, yeah, you could have had the whole bit where he's doing his big commercial, I'm famous and rich now, but what a sellout show.
Yeah.
Where there's a bit where maybe he's watching, Dr. Gillian McKeith analyse someone's shit, and he knows it's bullshit, and you could just have him looking at her, hello darkness, my old friend,
yeah,
sort of thing.
And you could even
in a funny way.
Yeah, and you could throw in like bits of like actual parody that could be funny. Like Frasier talks about running for Congress, and to do this, he makes a video where he goes to Kroger and talks about how everything is so expensive and the food nowadays. Look at this gourmet hummus. It's $13. You can barely buy anything.
Yeah.
Remember that?
I
Dr.
can
Oz.
barely afford a tartiflette. No, did Dr. Oz say that?
He did, yeah, he did like some video. God, did he give up on all that? He was gonna run for Congress or governor or something. I don't remember because it was a joke. And he like made a video where he's talking about how expensive food is, and he's like, it's so expensive to make a crudité tray. Like it was just funny. Like pointing out, like, look, this pre-made guacamole. Like crap that I think a lot of average Americans don't buy, because it's like, shit for like an expensive dinner party.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
I've definitely told this one before. Peter Mandelson, who was Tony Blair's spin doctor, an incredibly powerful, non-elected politician. In the 2000s, they were trying to parachute him into a safe seat, because he wasn't very popular, although he was politically astute. He wasn't very popular. And they did like a campaign video, I remember, and he goes to a fish and chip shop to show you, he's a working class guy, grew up Scottish, all this. He goes into a fish and chip shop and he points at the mushy peas and goes, "Oh look, guacamole."
Okay, that's pretty good. Yeah, I like that. That's pretty good.
Yeah. I remember when I was a student, dinner I would have sometimes would be fish fingers and a tin of mushy peas. And the whole thing cost me like 80p. They were the days.
You're right. Yeah.
Speaking of $11,000 a year, Columbo.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I've been watching Columbo.
Sorry, did you have more to say about...
No, I wish that we got more of that.
And Frasier. Yeah, we were talking about Frasier, sorry.
Yeah, and I think it's very soft in its making fun of Frasier as a character, whereas in the original series, I feel like it was more funny because, like, yeah, he's this, like, pompous dude who thinks very highly of himself that you can still sympathize with. Who does all kinds of, like, ridiculous things in relationships and jobs, and, like, he should know better. You're a psychiatrist.
He's not out to hurt anyone, but he is...
He's a doofus in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of like making the show and the jokes like making fun of Frasier in the original series that makes him more endearing as a character and makes the show more funny. And it just feels so like softball in this. Like I don't know, it's just not the same. You know?
Yeah. It's not the same.
It's not the same. Yeah. That's it.
There's a bit where they mention or his son says, "Didn't you and Uncle Miles open up a restaurant and close it in a day?"
Oh, yeah.
And it made me think like, I wish we were watching that episode.
Yeah, we were both like, that was a good show. Yeah. Yeah, I got nothing else to say. Just, there was like a glimmer there of like, this is what I wish that we would have gotten.
Yeah.
Sad.
I suppose. Columbo.
Columbo's a great show. Yeah.
You've never seen it before?
I saw it as a kid at some point, like on TV, and like young enough kid that it wouldn't have appealed to me, but like
Sure.
I remembered it. And you definitely remember Columbo, so we were like, let's see if we can find it and watch some.
Yep.
It's a great show.
Yeah.
What year was the first one? It's like 69 or something?
The pilot was 1968.
Right.
First season was 71.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. What's Columbo about?
Well, Columbo is a sort of disheveled detective who every week has to solve a crime involving rich people murdering each other.
Yeah. In LA.
In LA, in often a convoluted way where they are sure they've gotten away with it.
And we see the actual murder like happen like toward the beginning of the episode.
Yeah.
So we, the audience, know what happened. And
Yeah.
then Columbo comes in and like pieces it together.
Yeah.
Which you'd think wouldn't work. Like, I would think.
But
there's no mystery, but
it completely depends on the writing and of the believability of how Columbo works it out. And definitely in the first seasons, I can't remember how long it's good for, maybe all 7 that we've got access to, but the later ones are crap.
Okay.
The ones that did in the 80s and early 90s, man.
Okay.
But yeah, he works it out, and he works it out in a way where you think, well, that was really clever and not a leap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's so like mild-mannered and how would you describe him? Like he's he just kind of like talks people like gently, respectfully talks people into backing themselves in a corner with the evidence. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, what else do you have to say?
Yeah, he's great. He's duplicitous. He's brutal.
But never yells at anyone, or
No.
yeah. And he has this whole like facade, like surely it's a facade of like kind of being like bumbling and a little bit like, oh, so I got my little notepad. Oh, let me see here. What did I have to ask you about? Oh yeah, very important piece of evidence. Yeah, I love him, and he's adorable.
Yeah.
Every like having we're in like season
3 now.
3 now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gotten to the point where the little beats of Columbo, like how he works, like just make me smile every time, even when I know they're coming, like in anticipation. Where he's talking to like the guy that we know did it, or lady, or whatever, and he's like, well, I just, I gotta take care of these little things. That's no big deal. Just little small details I gotta wrap up. They make me do that at my job or they won't let me close the case, But, okay, thanks for clearing that up. That explains that. And then he turns and walks to the door and then, just one more thing. And it's so, like, every time that he's going to a door, I get excited because he's gonna turn around and be like, just one more thing, actually. Just one little thing.
Yeah.
It's very enjoyable. Yeah.
Yeah.
And very, like, chill for something that's about murder.
Yeah.
It's quite quiet and, like, definitely dialogue-driven. I don't know. What do you think? You obviously know it way better than I do. This is my first time, like, really watching it, so...
Yeah, I mean, I really like it, for the reasons you said.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I like how... Go ahead, sorry.
I like his dog.
I like his dog, yeah. His probably non-existent wife.
In the first few seasons, definitely.
In the first few seasons, yeah. He's always talking about, who does care about that? My wife. She's always telling me, blah, blah, blah. And, like, it just comes across, like, This guy has no wife.
No, I mean,
Just
you
seems
see in
talking
his
shit.
apartment in the episode we watched yesterday,
Mm-hmm.
it's like, that's a single man's apartment.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Columbo and I think William Link did decide at the beginning that it was bullshit.
Yeah.
But then as it progressed, it changed.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Where,
Well, because I'm assuming that, I guess just as shows change, like different writers come in, different people take over.
I think so, yeah. And some, you know, but, oh, your wife's on the phone.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, you're like, he doesn't have a wife.
Yeah,
That's
like
his shtick.
I'm definitely read it as he doesn't have a wife. It's just his shtick. Yeah, he just says that to people, like, I don't know, to make them see him in a certain light, or to like get a point out there without making it his point. You know, like my wife says blah 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 blah. It's cute and clever. Yeah.
Yeah, and I hope that they never try and reboot it, because Peter Falk is Columbo.
Mm-hmm. We'll see, but remember when we were watching the first few episodes?
But
go ahead. Yeah.
if they did have to reboot it,
Mm-hmm.
I think they'd have to call it Columbex, right?
Go on.
Like Latinx, to fulfill the desires of the lead, Cyber John Leguizamo.
Yeah, yeah. I also think that if they had to do a remake, it should be starring John Leguizamo. He could totally do the voice.
Yeah, but it also shouldn't be. It should be the same thing, the same demeanor. Sure, he could do it. Totally, he could do it. But it should be like hyper futuristic,
Right.
or something. It shouldn't be set in. They definitely shouldn't go back and like make it in the 70s.
No.
But no, it should. I don't know. I don't know why I want it to be futuristic. Just. I don't know. I just think that fits with John Leguizamo. I can imagine him with like a metal jaw or something.
Right. Okay. Columbotron.
Columbex.
Columbex. Yeah.
Maybe not.
I don't know. I do think that he could do the character. But yeah, also it's a good thing, so leave it alone, I guess.
Yeah, and anything else about Columbo or anything else at all?
I don't think I got anything, no. I like Columbo. Gonna watch some more of it. And I hope it stays good for a while. But we'll see.
Yeah, it'll stay good for a while. And then there's a break, I think, where they stopped making them and then went back to it, and that's...
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, well, I'll be prepared for that.
Yeah, well, you know. I really like the London one, where he's running around.
That was fun. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that too.
I'd have been a lot more impressed if I'd have known when I was in London. Like, I mean, that bridge next to Westminster, that he's on, that famous bridge, I walked across that like 300 times. I never felt anything like, oh, this is historical or anything. If I'd known Columbo had been there, I'd have been in awe.
Life-changing.
Well, it wouldn't have been life-changing, but I'd have, you know, yeah.
Okay. Cool. I don't think I got anything else.
Cool, well,
Yeah.
there we go.
Do you want to say anything about, you finished Cyberpunk?
Well, I finished it ages ago.
Yeah, I know. But did you not say anything about it? I can't remember.
I finished Cyberpunk. Okay, all right. I
damn.
finished Cyberpunk. It was good. I liked it.
Yeah.
I like the story. I don't love the story, but I like the story. It's convincing, and
Definitely looks lived in.
yeah, the setting was good. Really, yeah.
Okay, cool. No,
Did you want to talk about City Skylines 2 and what you would like to see, even though?
Oh no, I haven't really read enough about it yet, and I know you were telling me about it earlier. What some of the complaints are. I mean, eventually, perhaps, it's just I'm not going to buy it for a while because City Skylines. You know, if I have the craving to play, you know, a Cities game, I'll just go back to City Skylines.
Yeah, I don't think you could even run it.
Oh, probably not.
No.
Not on my computer now.
Yeah.
Most likely not. So,
Yeah. Favorite Cities game?
City Skylines.
Really? Yeah. For me, SimCity 3000.
I like that one too.
Everyone goes on about 2000. 2000 was good.
Yeah.
I played that first. But SimCity 3000 I really liked.
Yeah, I played 3000 quite a bit as well, yeah.
Yeah. My child mind working out like, oh, I can be paid to take people's trash and burn it, and
Yeah.
And then I went back to it, and it's pretty hard at the beginning. Anyway.
Yeah, those are good. Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised they haven't done another Sim Town. I guess that was just so long ago. It's like one of the first ones. Like, it was just like a teeny tiny little town, but it had like certain detailed things that were interesting. Like, you had like set water supply for your town, with like a cute little graphic of like, you're gonna drain all your lakes if you keep using so much water. And you like actually like, I want to say like manually assigned people like housing and jobs and stuff. It was like way smaller scale.
Right.
But I remember playing that in the school library.
Almost like a colony simulator or something.
Kinda, yeah.
Sim Ant, you ever played that one?
I didn't know.
No, that was the worst one.
Was it?
Yeah, I don't think that. Yeah, because you could just like not play it and it would play itself. And what other sim games would you like?
I don't know. I mean,
What would you like a simulation of?
that's a good question. I mean, there's plenty of good ones. Planet Zoo, Planet Coaster are good. I thought that like Hospital 2.0 was all right until it got kind of boring because it's basically like a spiritual remake of Theme Hospital, which I loved as a kid. But it kind of just runs out of things to do at a certain point. Yeah, I don't know. What do you think? What are some good simulation games you'd like?
I mean, there's loads that are out there. You know, there's like a simulation for like a fire and rescue thing, and political simulators and things like that.
I think I would enjoy like a highly detailed like restaurant simulator. Like, don't make that face at me.
Yeah.
Actually working in a restaurant sucks ass, but I think you could make a game that's like that that's actually like fun. But I don't know. What else? What else is there?
There's loads. There's farming simulators.
Yeah, I've never played any farming simulators.
Train simulators.
Unless you count Stardew Valley.
That's not a simulator, darling.
No, I know. But it's great.
Who do you marry? Don't even want to know. Don't even look at me.
The one that's most like you.
None of them are like me. They're all losers. Shut up. Which one?
Sebastian. I hate the world. Bleh. Sucks. Life's so hard.
Which one's that?
The like emo one. There's really no good options.
The emo
for
one that
dudes.
like lives in the basement.
Yeah.
That's the one that's most like me.
Well, what are the other options?
Willie. I'm most like Willie.
Can you marry Willie? The homeless guy. Oh no, you're talking about the
Fisher dude.
The fisherman.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even realize he was an option. Well, all right, fair enough.
And also, yeah, the homeless guy. After him, that's the one I'm most. Is his name Linus?
Lionel, something like that. Yeah.
Flannel. Yeah.
Poor thing. He's just trying to get somebody's full uneaten French baguette out of their trash.
Poor thing. He's living the dream.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. Surely he gets cold in the winter. He lives in a fucking tent.
Meh.
I'd be fine with that, you say.
I'm fine with that, yeah. I've been cold.
Yeah. Well, I mean, who are your options? For dudes, you've got, like, alcoholic war veteran. All of his... I actually went through his, like, romance moments, and it's all, like, you find him passed out in a pile of his own vomit in the woods next to a cliff, and another time he threatens to kill himself. Like, this isn't romantic. There's
it's like I'm dating Spenny.
The author who lives next to the beach who's definitely meant to be gay. Elliot.
Hey! Is he meant to be gay?
It comes across that way to me.
Can you marry him if you're a boy?
Yeah, you can marry any of them.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
I see.
But, yeah, it's open for any of them.
Yeah, he's a poet or something, right? Right.
Yeah, his romance thing, eventually he asks you what he should write a book about. And it's like, yeah, the options are like sci-fi or like poetry or something. And whatever you answer, he's like, brilliant. Yeah, it's kind of boring. I don't know. Sebastian's the one that appeals the most to me. Just wants to be on his computer.
Great.
I guess the girls aren't really great options either. I don't
Wrong.
know. No, who's a good one?
I don't want to sound sexist here, but it's a plethora of talent. The girl who lives down south. Oh, they're all the fucking same. I mean, you know.
Yeah, I guess.
Me, I live in a little town. Me.
Letter in the mail. Please bring me a cucumber. You know what for. I mean, those are pretty funny.
The one who lives in the little house.
That's all of them.
She doesn't live in town.
Okay. The blonde. She's south of Marley.
Yeah, she's
The
not
lady who
blonde,
sells
though.
the animals.
She's got like red hair.
And then and then the one who's having an affair with the mayor. And then there's a
Yeah.
little house right below that. And that's who you're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, all the good ones are married, because I'd marry Jodie, but she's married, so...
Is that the school teacher?
No, that's the... Well, I don't think so. That's the lady you go to build all your shit.
Oh, yes, she is married
You
with
see-
children. That's Sebastian's mom.
If I Right, well, if I married her, it'd be great. I'd just be in a
interesting.
hammock, and she'd be putting shit up.
Yeah, building wells and barns for
Get me
people
more lemonade.
by herself. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Get that
Yeah.
Sebastian kid working.
Yeah. Yeah, he should
You
probably...
can be in the cave planting mushrooms, nice and dark and damp in there for him.
Yeah, that's what her husband does. Like the scientist. He's the one who comes and says, you have a cave over there. I can either put some fruit bats in it or grow some mushrooms. Mushrooms, please.
Okay then, right, yeah, I mean...
Yeah. I don't know why we're talking about this now. That's a great game. Very cute.
Thanks very much for watching. Yeah, see you next time. Oh, we have a PayPal thing. Do you want to mention that?
Not yet, waiting for the ID confirmation. At some point, we'll have a PayPal link in the description where if you'd like to leave a little tip or something because you don't want to get sucked into the Patreon system and worry about canceling recurring payments and all that garbage, you know. Some people have asked for it for a while, so I just thought...
So allow me to simultaneously say, please give me money, but also you don't owe me shit. So, there you go. Alright, thanks very much. Bye.
It's all good.